So this has been rushed through by the Albanese Labor government, and it's not in the best interest of the Australian people.
A lot of controversy over Peter Dutton saying we should put an end to the intake of refugees from Gaza. I'm tipping you probably agree with him, though.
I totally agree with him, and his questions on the floor of Parliament are very valid and they should be asked. But you notice that Anthony Albanese couldn't answer the questions.
That's my style. I hope you've noticed that.
And to say that it's the same laws that when the coalition were in, it's different circumstances, Chris. Of course, you've got war over there with Gaza and Israel. The fact is that 75% of the people in the Gaza supported Hamas, which is a recognised terrorist organisation. So when they're actually going to bring them out, nearly 3,000 people applied for visas to actually come out to Australia, we don't know what their background is. And it's only purely based on documentation that they've filled out, because investigations can't be done into their birth, deaths and marriages of who they are. So we're actually bringing people over here. We have no understanding.
Prime Minister, in order to hold a visa, individuals must pass a character test. Does supporting a listed terrorist organisation like Hamas pass Australia's character test?
Warning. I will not answer the question because that's my style. I hope you notice that.
Mr. Speaker, I noticed the Leader of the Opposition at a time where we were celebrating Olympians coming back to Australia, a moment of national unity, chose once again to seek division.
He kind of looks like a hypocrite.
From the moment this referendum was launched by our Prime Minister, our nation has been divided.
Yes. Can't ever say no to attempting to raise tension in our community, and is always looking for an opportunity to create division. It's what Labor governments do. I have a track record on this.
And it sickens me to see this Prime Minister. He is so weak, and I actually am so angry with him in the leadership role of this nation that I cringe when I see him.
And rightly so. Mr. Speaker, rightly so.
This was an uncomplicated proposition that we just asked a straight answer from the Prime Minister. Does supporting a listed terrorist organisation like Hamas pass Australia's character test? Yes or no?
Warning. I will not answer the question because that's my style. I hope you notice that.
This is really a matter for everyone. Community leaders, politicians, the media. Watch your words, watch your actions. There is a direct correlation between inflamed language, inflamed tension and violence. Mr. Speaker, I seek to bring people together.
Prime Minister needs to take responsibility for the division that we're now confronted with.
There's another thing to consider too. Those people, once they land in Australia, will they claim refugee status? So then we're stuck with them and we don't know the backgrounds. I think we shouldn't be taking any of them. They should be going to a safe haven, a country closest to them, but a lot of these Arab countries don't want them either. So we shouldn't be taking these people into Australia. I have fear for the nation in bringing these unknown quantities into the country. We don't know who they are, who they support, terrorist organisations. I'm sorry, I don't want them here.
Well, there are a couple of points here. One is you make the point about the neighbouring nations. Yeah, this is incredible. Jordan, which is the traditional homeland of Palestinians. Egypt, which used to hold the Gaza Strip. These are the countries that should be looking after Palestinians. They take no one. So it's fair to ask the question why Australia is the destination.
The truth is that something that is at the centre of the government's agenda as we go forward.
A traitor.
But the other issue is we learned in the response from the government today from Tony Burke that the only security check here he points to is ASIO checking people against a checklist. And that's clearly inadequate. We're talking about people coming from an area where Gaza was elected by 70% of the population, where where Hamas have been the government, the ruling authority there. So surely anyone coming from Gaza should be subjected to individual assessment and scrutiny.
It should be, and that's under the visa applications. They should have character tests. Have they been imprisoned? It's all, and signing an agreement to agree with Australia's laws and all the rest of it. But That cannot be done, Chris. Some of these people received their visas within 24 hours or 48 hours. It cannot and not possibly be done correctly to comply with the rules that it's needed. So this has been rushed through by the Albanese Labor government.
What could go wrong?
And it's not in the best interest of the Australian people.
Well, the other aspect of this is something I went strong on Monday because I was astounded by it, and that is our ASIO boss, Mike Burgess, saying it would be okay to allow in people who only had rhetorical support for Hamas. Now, this is extraordinary. We should not be letting anyone into the country who supports Hamas in any way, shape or form. And I think the Liberals asked a very good question in Parliament today, saying, surely if you're offering rhetorical support to Hamas, aren't you failing the character test to get into this country?
Exactly right. That's exactly what I said. They've got to pass a character test, and that is not a character test that can be passed in Australia. We have enough problems here. You know, they've gone from possible to probable in a terror threat in Australia. Why are we opening up this? You know, it could actually end up down the path of more problems. Here we have, you know, protesters here in Australia for the Palestinians, for Hamas, supporting Hamas. And we don't need more of these people in here. And I'm sorry, I'm telling Australians, I support Peter Dutton. We don't want them, we don't need them, and we shouldn't be allowing them in. So what is the deals that's been going on with the Labor Party and the Greens pushing this agenda because, you know, they're not standing up for what is right for Australia? Wake up to yourselves, Australians. You're taken for a bloody ride here like sheep to the slaughter.
This government just isn't up to it.
And we need a better government.
It won't happen. So Labor needs to go. And I fear for this country, if we have another round of Labor after the next election, I don't believe there's going to be any chance of pulling this country back out of the demise it's going to be in.